freaking any of them.
That's what we're finding.
Are those
Right?
And it's not even like,
and are not those at
it's not so much
WSTU.
even the first response, it's
STU
the
does
follow-up
not endorse
after the
products
first
that may be
response.
mentioned.
Oh, it goes on for months. They say the average person is going to be 6 to 9
without written consent
contacts,
of WSTU.
communications before
The
they'll
phone
book an
lines are
appointment.
open.
Yeah.
Call in with
6
your
to
questions
9.
and comments at
That's-
220.
There's a lot of pestering.
If you're not prepared, you gotta have automation.
It's time
Yeah.
for Stuart Laser Talk with your host, Dr. Trent
Oh, I know.
Zacher.
Just, it blows my mind.
I'm 5'10" and 242
It never
pounds.
ends.
I always say this is the
Mike,
biggest
it never
I've ever
ends.
been. I said that
I'm telling you.
20 years ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac. I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Trent Rissacker, and I am a licensed doctor of chiropractic right here in the beautiful state of Florida and the great state of New York. Yes, I am from New York. But then I think half of Florida is either from New York or Michigan. At least that's what I notice.
Only half?
Only half. The other half are aliens, I think, from another planet.
I think so.
They were dropped
I
off.
think so. Those are the locals.
They were dropped off in one of those pods, and they popped out. It's amazing. I'm so happy to be here today. It is July, I don't even know the day, 16th, 15th? No, 17th, right?
Today's the 16th.
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 Wonderful 2019. And I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I'm here to tell you a message about health and wellness and about life. And I have a whole bunch of amazing facts about the human body today that are just going to blow your mind. So you want to stay tuned in. I'm going to intersperse these facts as I go through my normal routine of explaining how today's medical lasers, these non-invasive, non-cutting, non-damaging, safe-to-use lasers are being used to help people to look better, to feel better, to heal quicker from damage, to recover from strains and sprains, and also to help you lose stubborn belly fat. Literally lying on your back and listening to music, you can lose inches, and at the same time, with a little bit of effort, you can lose some weight at the same time. It is that realistic. It's happening. It's available. It's here. It's present. It has mass. It's here. And all you have to do is reach out, take that arm. Oh, I know how hard it is to exercise reaching out for things besides food in the refrigerator. Grab that phone, pick it up. If you're interested in finding out more about the Slim Body Laser, about how I'm using lasers to help people to look better, feel better, heal quicker, you give us a call, 772-223-5885, which I've already forgotten my number as soon as I say it.
Gone.
It's gone. I try to remember. If it wasn't attached to a phone bill, I'd never remember it. So why don't we just say, use my name. Go to the internet, go to your phone. The whole world is on your desk, is on your phone nowadays. You know what's so funny is I have of course, I have a smartphone, a fairly nice one. And I almost fell off the little stool I was sitting on at the AT&T store.
Oh boy.
When he told me that it was $900 for for my phone,
Yeah.
or I could split it into equal payments and spend $2,000 and they own it. You know, I was like, how much is this? $900? I don't remember spending that much for a desktop, for crying out loud. My laptop was a little pricey, but nothing like this phone. So, of course, I got it because I need it and I use it, and it's a wonderful tool, and all the world's information is in my hand. And then what happened was I basically, the camera feature went out, broke on it, you know, which is a really important part to have when you're doing live videos and stuff. But and then of course I had to get another phone, and I switched the SIM card from the original $900,000 phone into a LG phone, which was like $300-400, not quite as much. So now I have this very expensive phone, and do you know, without the SIM card, it's just like having a laptop computer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that. I thought that when that SIM card, no phone number, there was no use of it. Well, that phone works better at home, wireless, than my laptop.
Yeah.
And it's got, I can put, you know, I can do all the YouTube videos on it. I can store information. It's amazing. So now I've got like 3 of these phones laying around. I have one in the room where I sit, one in the car.
Mm-hmm. And my stepbrother, when he would upgrade his phone, would take the old phone and just, you know, take the SIM card out so he can't do anything outside of it. Still connects to the internet and all that stuff. And that's what the kids used.
It's the truth.
Throw it over
I
to
had
the kids.
no
let them do it.
idea. The technic, you know, the computing power in one of these phones is just amazing. But what it means to you, my listeners, is you can find me. You can contact me. You can get a direct line right to my office, right to my house, right to my bedroom, for crying out loud, on my cell phone. And of course, I require a voicemail recognition, 2-factor authorization, I call it. Don't call me once, leave a message. I'll verify that it was who it is and call you back. And that's obviously a product of all the marketing and solicitation that we're being bombarded with on our cell phones today. Oh my God, I don't even, you know, I'm so jaded to that beep, that alert. I don't even look at it anymore. I mean, just beep, beep, beep. It's always alerting somebody is trying to influence me to do something that they wish that I would do, and I'm not thinking of at this time. So, my name is Dr. Rissacker. I went to college right here in Indian River Community College. They used to call it IRCC back in the day. I took a lot of my prerequisites here, a lot of my anatomies and physiologies and microbiology. I took Chemistry 101 here.
Sure.
From Indian River Community College.
I can see
It was a wonderful experience. I was in my early 20s. And the best part about going to be a doctor, if you've never taken pre-med, is it's full of girls looking to become nurses. So I remember in high school, the home ec class had a lot of girls too. Obviously, girls were a big part of my life when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, man, I should learn how to cook. And, you know, look at all these beautiful girls in here. And then when I got off to college to become a doctor, all the girls that were becoming nurses over at IRCC were all in the classes with us. So that's just for you out there thinking of becoming a chiropractor. School is a lot of fun, and it was definitely very valuable to me. And then from IRCC, I transferred my credits to basically 2 different schools. I went back to New York for a little while, for about 2 years, and I took some classes at Nassau Community College, which is outside of Uniondale, up in New York and Long Island. And then I also took some classes out in California. I had a little couple of years spurt out in San Clemente there, surfing and skateboarding and going to school. And I took some classes from Mission Viejo Saddleback Community College, for those of you that are from California. And from those 3 colleges, I pulled all those credits together, and I got accepted at the Cleveland Chiropractic College in Kansas City, Missouri. And I graduated December 1st of 1988. And I'm only remembering this because I had to do some bio for some marketing that I'm doing, and they asked me specifically, when did I graduate chiropractic college? And I wasn't sure. I had to look So I went online and saw that it was December 1st of 1988. So, that's almost 30 years, 31, 32 years of practice. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful journey for me. I am so glad and grateful that I was humble enough to listen to my parents when I was in my 20s and said, life is more than making money and buying a new four-wheel drive truck, Tread. That's what my mom said. It's more than having a new truck. It's about having a career and a life purpose and a mission. And I was like, what does that have to do with getting a new truck, Mom? She goes, you'll see. Just trust me. If I ever led you wrong, I'm like, nope. All right, let's do it. So I went off to chiropractic college, and boy, am I glad I did that. I am really glad I did that, because now that I'm 58, as so many of you are out there and maybe a little older, I look at my friends and they're kind of, all that hard work and all that construction, man, they look like they're 80 years old. That's hard work out there, working in the sun and lifting and spreading plaster or stucco or framing out houses or working in the environmental business where you're clearing land. I mean, I'm so glad I became a doctor. And now I can come back and help people. Fantastic. So, one of the most powerful messages that I could share with you, if you've been listening to my show for the 7 or 8 years that we've been on, you know what I do. It's medical weight loss. We're using laser to assist with weight loss. And we know that weight gain, obesity is a crisis. It's an epidemic in America. It is probably going to be the number one cost that can be managed, something that you can do to change your health. And it'll be up to you to make those changes, is to lose weight. It's a lifestyle, the medical profession, the ICDA code people that make up insurance reimbursement and determine who gets paid for what and what doctors are paid through insurance. They look at your weight gain as a lifestyle problem. That you made the choice to eat too much, to not exercise, to throw care to the wind and caution to the winds. And over time, you created this obesity epidemic, this problem. And for that reason, it's not a disease. It's not something which you had nothing to do with. And it's your choice. And in case you haven't been to the doctor lately, when you go into the doctor with something that is your fault, something you created, like cigarette smoking or other issues, there's very little help available from the insurance company to help with that problem. They look at it as a lifestyle problem. So it's your responsibility to do something about it. And as a result of that, there's 100,000 different situations and ideas and books and new fad diets and injections and stomach removal and stomach pumping and just on and on of all of the different ideas and people are trying to do to look better, to lose weight without dieting and exercising. It's something that it's almost like trying to figure out how to drink alcoholically by taking a pill, which doesn't work very well. I think they've tried that also. Best thing is abstinence if you're alcoholic. And if you're having eating problems and you have a weight problem, the best thing to do is to back off on the food and exercise more. But we know how difficult that can be. So as a result of that, I rely heavily on testimonials. People that have been to the office, know what we do, and would like to share their story with you. And I happen to have a friend waiting online very patiently to share their story. Are you there? Pat?
Yes, I am. This is Pat.
Hi, Pat. I'm a little long-winded this morning for some reason. I apologize. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you heard about us, and you are a client of the spa, correct?
Yes, I am.
That's great. So you're not somebody that's calling from the internet from California, think tank, nothing like that.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Okay. So share a little bit about what's going on.
I heard about this spa at one of our healthcare
Right.
And I was, last year they were here, and I looked at it, I said, what, let's try it. I tried everything, I tried different Weight Watchers and that kind of thing, and, I had a trouble area with my abdomen.
Uh-huh.
And so I started the treatment. Very first treatment, I was able to lose inches.
What?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a show. But after 9 treatments, I had lost 6.5 inches.
Wow.
And I'm down something like 5 pounds just by eating healthy and following the diet plan that's given to us. And it's not strict at all. Water is absolutely wonderful.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it was wonderful. But I have never had any kind of disease like violence like that prior to this. And that's why I was a little bit skeptical. I didn't want anything invasive.
Skeptical? You waited like 3 years, didn't you?
Probably, yeah.
Didn't you see us like 3 years when we first came in? And then we came back again for another health fair, and then the third one, and we finally got you.
Yeah.
And one of your colleagues had come in also, correct? That kind of gave you a little boost. That's right. Oh yeah, that's easy for him though.
How did I feel during the treatment was I was very, I felt good. And one of the things with the supplements and using the protein drinks and everything is that I never felt hungry. And I couldn't believe it. Like, why don't I feel hungry? And that's one. Why don't I feel hungry? Because you take really more protein. And I think carbohydrates and sugars also make you tired. So I definitely had more energy.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm very happy with the whole procedure.
And Pat, this targeted a specific area that you struggled with, correct? Your midsection?
Yeah.
So when you say 6 inches, let's let people understand that would be 2 inches in girth in 3 different areas, right? So the very lower part of your tummy by your belt line or pants would be 2 inches, and then 2 inches at the belly, mid, and then up higher. Wow. And so what was that, about a two dress size drop approximately? 1 to 2, 3? Uh-huh. Yeah, wait. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Flat. I love the way you just say that's flat. Everybody's looking for that area to be flat. Trust me. And without losing body parts, without having any injections, any ports opened up where fluid drains out, surgery. To think something could be so non-invasive, lay on your back, take a nap, it still even amazes me. And I've been doing it now for 9 years and 5,000 people. So that's great. And well, Pat, I couldn't say it any better than you just said it. You're a real person. You came into the spa. You got inches off in the area you're concerned about. I would assume you're over 50, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's not an aging thing. It's just it's just the right technology.
Right. Yeah.
That's great. All right. Now I know you probably got to get back to work, so let me let you go. Thank you, beautiful. I appreciate you more than you can imagine. Bye-bye. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1,842
Mm-hmm.
testimonial in the last 7 years. Do you need to hear more, people? Reach down, grab that phone, go to your super intelligent smartphone. Well, by the way, they're only as smart as the person operating it, by the way.
That's true.
But hopefully you're smart enough to do drtred.com, Slim Body Laser, call, run there, take the rickshaw. doing Uber. Hey, I did an Uber ride for the first time in my life the
Yeah?
other day.
Get out of here.
I am like old school. I don't really like riding with other people in their cars
Okay.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
I like to drive. I'm this control guy. So for me, it was a big move. So I did the app on my not so smartphone, smart as me. And by the time I pushed it, went to the bathroom, he's already there.
Oh,
The guy was already there.
They can be very
He's
quick.
waiting. I'm like, dude, what were you waiting around?
They do that.
And so that's what he said. He goes, yeah, absolutely. So drove me over to off of Monterey, $7. Did it online, gave him a little gratuity.
Mm-hmm.
And he was grateful. I was grateful. And I thought, this is a disruptor, this Uber thing. He had a nice, clean car. He had good ratings. It was good.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure the next time I'll be stuck waiting an hour and have 3 other people in the car that have been drinking all day.
That's happened too.
That's
happened.
Like with the taxis,
Yeah.
it used to happen.
Yeah,
But I did my Uber thing. So Uber yourself to my office. I'll tell you what, you've taken Uber to the office for your consult, and I'll give you a free protein drink. How does that
Boy,
sound?
talk about being pampered for a day. Your personal driver is coming up to pick you up, take you to the laser spa,
Get
when
you
you get
free
in-
consult, and you get a free protein shake.
and then you get a driver to take you back.
That's right. What's better than that? So that's what we're doing at the Slim Body Laser Spa. You know where we're located, right across the street from the Fresh Market on East Ocean Boulevard. It's called Dr. Tread's Slim Body Laser Spa. We are growing. We are getting more successful. We're going on this February will be 9 years at that location. And we have done nothing but grow in numbers, in success, in our skills, and that's to your benefit. There's a lot of places. I just saw another machine that just has been advertised now, and I looked at it about 2 months ago when they, of course, I get all the brochures and the sales reps come by because of our success. And this is a machine made by the Cool Sculpting brand, which is Allergen, which is a behemoth. What is it? A very large company. And they own lots of lasers, lots of patents. And they now have this new machine called the EM Sculpt. That's the name of it, EM Sculpt. And EM stands for electromagnetic sculpt. So look at the technology, and it has merit. It's not a scam, but it's very limited into what it's designed to do. And it's not for fat removal. It's not for circumferential waist reduction. You're not going to go from a 40 waist down to a 36 waist in 3 weeks like you can at the Slim Body. But what it's designed to do is it uses radio frequency, which is basically radio waves that are introduced into the skin. And whenever the radio wave touches the opposite wave, it creates a little bit of heat. And that happens underneath the skin in the subcutaneous area where not where your scar tissue, but where all your connective tissue is. So that heating up, radio frequency, causes that tissue to react and to tighten a little bit. So, and one of the downfalls with radio frequency type treatment, and these are machines like the Vanquish, the Excellis machine, the Ultra Therapy machine, and now this EM Sculpt machine. These are pretty popular at the dermatology centers because everybody wants to try to tighten some skin. And one of the downfalls with skin tightening procedures using radio frequency is in order to tighten the skin, it has to hurt. I mean, like in some people, it hurts a lot. So every time that machine starts to heat up and starts to get those radio waves are crossing underneath deep in your skin, in front of your muscle wall, which is the subcutaneous compartment, it's got to be like, oh, that's hot enough. Stop. Okay. And that it has to have that effect for it to have an effect. And the other part about radio frequency and using heat to tighten and to aggravate and to irritate the tissue is that it doesn't last very long. The body will heal from that radio frequency influence, and after, it depends on the person and the procedure and their age, and there's a lot of other factors, but most people have to have it done several times, every year, every 6 months. It has to be done again and again, and eventually it gets where it just doesn't really make that much of a change. Not at any fault of the technology, it's just aging. It gets harder and harder to tighten skin as you get older and older. And so what the EM Sculpt machine has done is it's combined radio frequency with something called electromagnetic stimulation, EM stimulation. And basically, that's an electrical current that causes your muscles underneath the skin to contract. And then they can pulse it. So that EM charge, it can pulse, bump, 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 like a pulse. And every time it pulses, it causes your muscle to contract. And combined with radio frequency, which is the heating up of the tissue, combined with the pulsation, they're claiming that it can lift buttocks, that it can lift the butt, make it more higher up, lifted instead of drooping. And also certain areas like in the pectoral muscles and other areas, they're saying that, with this use that you can bring some definition back to the stomach muscles and back to these areas. Well, if you are in your 30s or 40s and the only problem you have is a little bit of extra belly fat over a very strong body core, I would say that it's probably a pretty effective tool. But what I see in my office over the last 10 years are people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s who have lost most of their muscle tone over the years from sedentary lifestyles, aging, injuries, reasons why. And, just doing something so minimal like that isn't going to make that much of a difference when there's massive, copious amounts of subcutaneous fat covering everything, covering the muscles, covering the body, spilling out over the top of your pants, bulging around the sides. You know what I'm talking about. If you've suffered with it, maybe you haven't looked at it in a long time, but we know that this is an issue. And those non-invasive, minimally invasive procedures, the Safe Sculpt and Sculpture and EM Sculpt and Cool Sculpting and Cavi Lipo and Vanquish and Excellis and Ult Therapy. I mean, I could name, there's dozens of them. They all are very, very minimally effective when somebody has a lot of fat. In fact, I think they're basically being misled because it's not going to make that much of a change for you. You need, when you have a waist circumference that's over 30 inches over 35 inches as a female. If your belly, if you take a tape and put it around your waist, around your belly button, and it's over 35 inches, you're in trouble. Those minimally invasive, I would say cafe machines, these Nuvo cafe machines, thinking it's going to change your body, are useless when you're dealing with a lot of fat. And also, if you're a man and your belly is over 40 inches, those machines aren't going to even scrape an inch off. You need some serious rehab, low-level laser, whole body vibration, detoxification, a food plan, a nutritional program to help you to really, really overcome years of neglect and years of not eating properly. This is what we specialize in. People who's, I love when they say, my back, my knees, they hurt all the time. And, could that be because of arthritis, or is it weight? I suffer from sleep apnea. At night, I stop breathing. And what is it? The sleep apnea is a gene? Is it a condition, an idea that you have in your head? No, sleep apnea is when you fall asleep and your stomach weight one of the causes, pushes up into your chest. And that big belly underneath the diaphragm, it restricts your breathing, and it can give you shortness of breath. And at night when you sleep, sometimes a person will stop breathing for momentarily until the carbon dioxide increases in their bloodstream, and then their body has a reaction to breathe. And that's what sleep apnea is. And the treatment for sleep apnea is a CPAP, a machine that they strap to your face, which forces air to breathe. So when you sleep at night, you're getting more air being forced into your lungs, so you get more rest because you're getting more air without really addressing the cause of the sleep apnea problem. That's my criticism with it. Yeah, CPAP machine can help a lot, but if you're 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight and you're having problems with sleep apnea, you need a CPAP machine to get through the night. But let's be realistic and let's work on the cause of the problem, which is the massive weight gain and the abdominal fat, that unhealthy abdominal fat, which is constricting and restricting your body's ability to breathe. So that's how that works. Now, you might be suffering with varicose veins. How many of you out there over the years have developed varicosities in your legs? Now, varicose veins are the blood vessels which are close to the surface of your skin. And over the years of standing and being on your feet too much, the muscles and the leg and the circulation becomes impaired, and this will cause a backup of venous flow, of the flow of blood supply back to the heart. It starts to build up in the feet and in the legs. And what happens is eventually those veins will start to protrude and they become discolored. And if it's really a severe problem, they can fall out of the skin. They become lumpy and bumpy, and you've seen it. This is really a lot to do with lifestyle for over many, many years. Too much standing, not enough exercise. And then the extra body fat, the weight gain, puts a lot of stress on the heart. The heart has to pump extra hard to get blood through the fat. And then what happens is the blood that has to go down into your feet and be brought back up to the heart, it's impaired. The circulation is impaired. And then one of the signs or symptoms of it is I've now got varicose veins. Now, we know it can happen from pregnancy in women, and it can also be genetic. But one of the factors here is obesity and weight gain, and the symptom is varicose veins. Or my feet hurt all the time. I have neuropathy. I've had a little cut on my toe, and it's not healing as fast as it used to. These are all symptoms of blood sugar, of metabolic syndrome, of weight gain. Maybe you've been recently diagnosed with diabetes, type 2, type 1 and type 2. I am myself, Dr. Tread here, I have type 2 diabetes. Who would have thought I'd ever be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes? I would not have believed it. I've never been overweight, except in my last 10 years have I gained some weight. When I was 47, 48, I put on some weight. I hadn't been heavy up until that point. Now, if you're newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes is what we call insulin-resistant diabetes. In other words, your body's producing insulin from the pancreas in response to food, but the insulin is not working. There's a resistance. The body is desensitized to the insulin that your body's producing. So what happens is you end up with high blood sugar. And that high blood sugar is toxic, it's poisonous, and your body has to release the sugar through the urine. If your body can't utilize those calories and put them into the cell, which is what insulin does, then it's going to spill out over into your urine. And it's going to leave you dehydrated. You're going to be thirsty all the time because you're increasing this urine output. It's basically saving your life. So now here's a very strong statistic which changed my life and could possibly change your life. If you are newly diagnosed, that means less than 5 years with type 2 diabetes, which is insulin resistant, meaning you're on metformin, you're on glipizide, they're telling you have to clean up your diet, lose some body fat, exercise more. These are the problems why you have type 2 diabetes. Less than 5 years. If you're overweight and you lose 10% of your body fat, you have an 80% chance of reversing type 2 diabetes, of getting off the medication because you've lost that body fat. Now, this is not my statistic. This is well documented, and this is what really led me to do the laser myself, was my own type 2 diabetes and my desire to not have to be on meds the rest of my life. And it really helped a lot. I lost that weight. I basically went from 265 down to 225, and it took me about 3 months. I lost 4 inches of girth around my midsection in 3 weeks using my laser, laying on my back, putting the laser on my belly. My body went from a 40 waist to a 36 waist. But I hadn't lost the weight yet. I still needed to lose the 10% of my body fat, which was about 40 pounds. And I did that in the next 3 months, eating better. So at the end of the 4th month, I was down 38 pounds. My blood sugar had improved, and I looked better, felt better. And it was a big win for me in my life. It was something that was very, very motivational, very emotional for me. I really did not know what to do about the weight and the diabetes until I used my own laser, my own program, my protocol. And this is what I share with you, the listeners and the people that are listening to this. The reason why we've been there for 9 years and we have more success and more growth than any of these centers is this is not centered on my needs. My office is centered on your needs. This is patient consideration care that is related to what you need, to what works for you, and what I think is the best advice you could have. And it's patient-centered care, not trying to sell a machine that I spent $100,000 on, know nothing about, yet the manufacturer and the FDA says it works. And that's not what we're doing in SlimBody. That's what they do at all these commodity centers, these Groupons and these, laser-like lipos and these red light centers and these spas and, 20 pounds in 20 days. It's just, they're commodities. And they don't have doctors. Many of them don't have any doctors there, unless it's a dermatologist or a surgeon. They're owned by business people. And, be careful. That's what I would have to say about that. Come in and check us out first. So maybe you're suffering with cardiovascular disease. Man, that's a big one. It's the number 1 leading cause of death in America is heart attacks. 1 out of 2. Look at your friend. Look at who you're sitting next to and realize that one of you are going to die from heart disease. This is really, really an ominous warning. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen when you're in your 50s, but as you get older, 70, 80, 90, heart disease is huge. Now, cardiovascular disease is a slow, progressive accumulation of cholesterol and plaque, garbage that you're eating, collecting in your arteries and in your vessels, in your blood system. The too much fat all the time and not exercising enough and not drinking enough water, these lifestyle choices lead over time to plaquing buildup of the artery, to this squishy, gross, fatty deposition in your arteries. And it can happen in your carotid arteries, in your femoral arteries, the ones that go down into your leg. And most, of course, it happens in the coronary arteries, the arteries that feed blood supply to the heart. And the reason why a person gets heart symptoms first from plaquing of the arteries is the heart requires more blood supply to function than all the other parts of the body. So a blockage or an occlusion is going to affect the heart first. And then that doesn't mean it's not everywhere else in your body. So cardiovascular disease, plaquing of the arteries, is very, very, very treatable by lifestyle choices that you make. You know, you can't pick your parents, okay? You can't pick your brother or your sister, but you can sure choose whether you're going to have cardiovascular disease or not within reason by eating better and exercising and losing body fat. Call the Slim Body. We can help you in that factor. Now, the same thing goes with circulation problems, people that have circulatory damage. Now, you know, circulation is very, very important to your body. You need good blood circulation to every single cell, tissue, organ, area of your body. It's so important that your body has installed a pump called your heart, which works automatically as you sleep. I don't care if you're running, sleeping, partying, making love, working, your heart is working, boom, 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 pumping blood, and it circulates fresh blood every 60 seconds, 1 minute. Your entire blood supply is circulated through all of the tissues from your feet up to your head. And what happens is, as you get older and you start to put more wear and tear, more restrictions to the heart's ability to pump blood, such as becoming overweight, having organic accumulation of toxins and health issues with your kidney, your liver, your spleen, could be from bad habits. What happens is your pressure, the body starts to become sluggish. The arteries and the veins they impede. They don't allow the blood supply to get through as easily, just like with diabetes in the feet. You lose circulation in your feet. And then what happens is the body's heart has to pump harder to get the blood through, because its mandate is, hey, every 1 minute we got to get all the blood through all the organs. And when that mandate starts to become stressed because of blockages and other issues, way too many to go into here, your body's blood pressure goes up. You start to have hypertension. Now, hypertension is not good. Hypertension over time can lead to heart disease and strokes. We know that. Everybody knows that. So the medical protocol, the approach to heart pressure, hypertension, is to give something to lower the blood pressure. A drug, a pill, a potion, without really addressing the cause. Now, they might give you a handout which says, hey, you got to lose some weight. Hey, you've got to eat better. Hey, you know, you got to exercise more. And at the same time, we're going to put you on these meds to lower your pressure until you figure out why it's happening. I mean, that would be the truth. That would be an honest way of approaching it, instead of just saying, you know what, you're going to need these meds for the rest of your life. Make sure your insurance can help pay for it. Not to worry. Medicare will pay for it. And you know, instead of really getting to the cause of the problem. So, you know, just taking medication is the best way I can describe this to you, is what was told to me by my dad, who was a very fantastic doctor, a chiropractor. He said medication, drugs, should be used when you're at the, let's say you're walking there's a river that you have to cross over. I mean, it's a big river. It's like the size of the Yellow River in China. It's not something you're going to get across very easily. And you messed up. You made a mistake, and that's why you can't get across the river. So somebody offers you a raft, a life raft, to get across the river to help you in this moment of crisis. That's what medicine is for. That's really why they're giving it to you. You screwed up, buddy. You didn't watch your health. This happened. You got exposed to something. You made some choices over years and years, and it's led you to this crisis, this high blood pressure, this high blood sugar, this cholesterol issue you're dealing with. And the medication you're being put on today is a life raft to get you across the river. It should not be your houseboat. It's not made for long-term usage. It will make you sick over long-term usage of medicine. And I'm telling you, it doesn't, when you get on meds, and you're in your 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and you're not able to address the cause of the problem, because medicine doesn't offer a cause, doesn't have any treatment for it other than the drugs. The medications, what happens is you end up on 15 more different medications by the time you're 75, because the pills they put you on in your 50s and 60s start to create side effects. They create high potassium. They create depression. They create bladder issues. They can actually lead to kidney failure because of the meds. And then you're put on more meds to treat the symptoms from those first meds. Please give us a call. I don't care if you're in your 80s or 90s or 60s or 70s. If you're dealing with massive medications and it's due to metabolic syndrome, it's blood sugar, cholesterol, high blood pressure. These are lifestyle issues. These are crises that you've created over the years, and you need a program which will help reverse some of the cause, not to try to stop the medication, to try to get off the medication safely, with intelligence, with help. That's why we do this. That's why Slim Body that's why we're there. So maybe you have a history where your dad died from a heart attack when he was only 63. And you're concerned that you're going to have a heart attack because he did, your dad's uncle did, your older brother died at that age, And one of the factors that they leave out of this is they all were obese. In other words, they had excess body fat. So if you're trying to beat that heart attack familial history of heart disease or cancer or diabetes, you need to make a change. Like for me, my dad had a heart attack when he was 57 years old, a quadruple bypass, basically. He died, almost died. They resuscitated him, and they did a patch job with his arteries. And I am 58 years old. I look just like my dad. I have a lot of his habits. I have a lot of his good habits and I don't want to say his bad habits, but I've learned by watching him. But the one thing that I have that he didn't have, that he had that I don't have, I don't smoke. I've never smoked cigarettes. And I don't stress. My father had a lot of type A personality stuff. He had a lot of anger. And then you combine that with cigarette smoking over, he was the Raleigh man. I mean, he could have been the Marlboro man. He had boxes and boxes of coupons from saving the cigarettes so he could get a jacket, a little Raleigh jacket. And so I believe that when you look at my history, by just changing my body fat, never becoming obese, he was not obese, by the way, and I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm not in that, I've beat that familial history. And if you're somebody whose parents and family have died in their 60s and 70s, and you're obese, that's one thing you can change. You can't change your genetics, but you can change the obesity. And that's what we can help you with the Slim Body. Here's another one. My mom has been fat as long as I can remember. My mom has been obese as long as I can remember. It affected every part of her life. She had shortness of breath as she got older. Her feet, her knees, and her back were always inflamed. She had knee replacements. She became diabetic type 2 in her 30s. And by the time she was in her 50s, she had bilateral feet neuropathy. And that's pain, tingling, swelling, no feeling in both of her feet. So she also suffered over time with diabetic retinopathy. Now, she had simple, and what happened was to my mom, this is a story from one of our clients, by the time she was in her 50s, she had foot neuropathy and diabetic retinopathy. And what happened was she had a simple ingrown toenail on her left foot that progressed into a full-blown infection that would not heal. And this is due to the diabetes and the weight and the lack of, taking care of herself when she was younger. She tried everything, but eventually the blood sugar for the diabetes made it worse. And you know what happened? She passed away after having the front of her foot taken off, her rest of her foot taken off, and in her late 50s had died as a result of the onset of the diabetes, secondary to the obesity. Please don't let that happen to you. these people that this happens to don't get up in the morning and say to themselves, I'm going to gain a bunch of weight and someday I'm going to have my feet cut off and then I'm going to die from this. They don't plan it that way. This is something which happens insidiously and slowly. It accumulates over time. Just like an elevator, which is falling to the ground, at the top of the building, you don't know you're in trouble. But it's falling, and everybody can see it from a distance. Hey man, you got to get out of that thing before it drops. Well, I don't really see it that way, but everybody can see it. And then, I'm okay though. I'm okay. Bang. That's really, a predictor of ill health and problems is obesity. If you're obese, you got to do something about it. Bust a move, get out, walk the bridge, get some nutritional help, join a friend, get someone to work with you. If you can't overcome it and you're having issues and you need help, call Slim Body. Let me tell you, the $2,800 is a gift. If it works, how do you put a price on that? On longevity, on more time, on a higher quality of life, on being able to look better, to feel better, to have a program which is safe. You will be joining 5,000 other clients that have been through the Slim Body Laser Spa and have found results. Somebody asked me the other day, because we have an enormous amount of testimonials. There's 350 written in hand, signed testimonials from my clients. And somebody said, does this really work? What happens afterwards? Does it come back? And I looked at her and I said, obviously, weight is something that you can always get back. Of course, I'm not going to say it's not going to come back. I said, but if you look at these testimonials you see on the wall, I've never had a client come back 2 years later and take their testimonial off the wall. Right? They've never come back and said, it came back like as soon as I left, and I don't think that this was, I've never had that happen. Those testimonials are on the wall. Oftentimes I call them to see how they're doing. Many of the people have maintained and sustained the correction, the better body shape. Others have fallen off a little bit and know why. It's very obvious. So listen, if I've done something to stimulate your desire to help yourself, give us a call. You know where I am. We're Slim Body Laser Spa. We're in Stewart. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Good show. That hour flew by.
Yeah, I think it's. I think my time is